Hey y'all, I'm August, Carolina Trust Brand Ambassador. April is Credit Union National Association Youth Month. And at Carolina Trust, it's super important for us to begin the conversation about money with the youth in our area at a young age. I know sometimes that can be a little difficult to talk to your children about money or the other young adults in your life because it's kind of difficult to explain to them how money works when they're not really used to using it or handling it and they're not at that step yet. A great way to start is by fun kid activities where you can gradually explain to them what money is and how it works and how it holds value in our society. So today I'm going to do a activity with you all that you can easily do at home to help teach your kids about money. And all you'll need for this activity is a plain sheet of paper, crayons or colored pencils, and a stack of change. So if you've got like a coin jar or something laying around at home, this is the perfect time to use it. And I went ahead and separated all of my coins ahead of time, but that's another great way to get started is to kind of take some change that you've got laying around and then separate it into different piles with your child, explaining to them that each coin is different. You can show them the front and the back of each coin, explain the different designs, explain the different monetary value. And it's a great way to start introducing the idea of money and where it comes from and how we use it to young children. So I'm sure most of you guys are probably familiar with the idea of shading over top of things. And that's kind of what we're going to be doing today with our coins. So to start with, I'm going to use all of my quarters, and then I'm going to kind of spread them out on the table. You want to put them far enough apart so that you can put other coins in between them when you get ready to get to that stage. And then I'm just going to lay my sheet of paper right over top, and I am going to pick a color crayon that I'm going to specifically use just for quarters. So I'm going to kind of feel around, and it's really easy to kind of tell where the money is underneath the paper because it's kind of raised up. So then once you've got it, you're going to kind of flatten the paper over the coin and then just use your crayon or colored pencil to lightly shade to where you can see the coin's design. You may have to shade just a little bit darker to see some of the different indentions on the coin, but however works best for you to where you can distinguish what kind of coin it is based on the shading. It also helps if when you're laying your coins out, you lay some coins on the front and some coins on the back, because at the end we're going to have your child match the different coins to the shaded marks that they made, and that kind of helps them learn what the backs of each coin and the fronts of each coin look like. And if you're looking for other Youth Month activities, Carolina Trust has a website page for our 2021 CUNA Youth Month that has details about a Youth Month contest that we're doing. It has weekly story time where we're going to be reading financial books, as well as some other Youth Month activities. So I encourage you to check that out. And I also encourage you to visit your local credit union branch so that your child gets an idea of what the branch looks like inside and all of the different employees and their jobs in the branch. It's a really good way to kind of start that conversation about finance at a young age. So now that we're done with our quarters, we're going to set those aside and then pull in another coin, and we'll spread those out, kind of just the same. And then I'm going to pick another color out of my crayon box so that we can, distinguish. And then with these, like I said, you should be able to feel them raised, but you want to make sure that you didn't lay a coin directly under a shading that you've already done. You do want to space them out a little bit just so you have different designs. And then also just, the variation adds some beauty to your page when you're done. So like I said, you're just going to briefly shade over each of the coins. And as I'm doing this, I'm kind of noticing that lighter colors seem to show up a little bit better. than the darker. The pink is showing up a lot better than the purple. So that's something to keep in mind when you're choosing your colors. One more. Okay, perfect. So now we've also got our dimes. We're going to scoot those to the side. Now we've got our pennies. I've got a lot of pennies, so I'm going to kind of narrow it down and not use all of them, but I am going to use a few so that we've got those in there. And then, like I said, again, we'll want to mix up the color so that you're getting a variety of colors on your page and that you can distinguish each coin. And we use lime green because here at Carolina Trust, we are Team Lime Green. Around. And you know, the best way that you can ensure that your child has a healthy relationship with money is by starting that conversation with them at an early age. You know, even if it's as small as showing them when you save, or you know, talking to them about putting money away, or you know, helping them save an allowance for a special toy or something they want like that. I know, you know, my parents used to joke, your allowance is living in this house, but you know, having an allowance sometimes really does start to teach kids at an early age the importance of making their own money and spending their own money wisely. And that, you know, in life, you sometimes have to make decisions on how you want to spend your money. So now we've got our pennies, and then lastly, our nickels. We use orange. We'll kind of spread these out. This is a great activity to start with, you know, little kids. I know a lot of the activities revolve in money online. It kind of gets to that point where you're reaching older school age kids to where, you know, they're already starting to add and subtract, and they want you to add up the values of the coins, or something to that effect. So this is great because it allows you to kind of teach your younger children about money, you know, when they're not really at that add and subtract and figuring money's value stage yet, and allows you to kind of start that conversation a bit earlier. All right, so I'm finished up. So now this is what my final sheet looks like. Of course, it's a bunch of different shaded dots, but when you look at it a little bit closer, you're able to see the imprints from each of the coins on the sheet. And then another really good activity, if you want to go a step further, is you've got your money in separate piles, is to have your child match what coin belongs to what shading now that you're over. So, you know, you can take your nickel and kind of look at the different shadings and say, okay, which of these came from this nickel? And so for me, my nickel was my green shading. And so then you can have your child, you know, place it on top. And during this time, you can talk to them a little bit more about the nickel. If you want to, you can even, you know, write the value beside of it, you know, put a 5 right there beside of the nickel. And then kind of do the same thing with all the other coins. You know, my penny was my penny was my green. And then, oh no, there's my 1 cent. I can see my penny was purple. So you can kind of do the same thing, you know, go around and lay them accordingly. And then we've got our quarters. And our dimes. So anyway, that's today's Youth Month activity, and it's a great way to kind of start the conversation about money with your child and teach them the value of money, help them distinguish between the different coins, and go ahead and start that conversation early. Happy Youth Month!